Hey everybody, my name is Vincent Rosa Chavez. I'm a producer here at Black Label Music, and today I'm meeting with Will Levison from Manchester. If you could say hello,
Hello, how's it going?
it's going great. So, if you could let us know where you're from and how you first became interested in music and music production.
So I'm from Manchester, England, not coast in the States. I got into music production when I was like 14, just recording drums in my mum's house on GarageBand for my, at the time, band. And then it kind of just snowballed from there. I got a copy of Ableton, as I was saying to you before,
Yep.
with a keyboard. And then that was it. That was the end. No other careers on the path.
Cool. So, what are you doing currently? I know you're freelancing as a producer. So you're working with a lot of artists and stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I work mostly with like clients I've met. So people, artists, like, because I gig as well. So people I've just met out and about. And then
Yeah.
a lot in the local music scene of Manchester, like word of mouth. A lot of like alternative pop. Like, I think that's probably my branch. Like, anything
Nice.
alternative, that's where you'll find me, I think.
Okay, cool. So, you're currently an intern at Black Label Music. So, how did you find out about Black Label Music?
Well, my story is definitely going to be different to most people, but I think I followed the page because I know Hayley, who used to work at Black Label last.
Yeah,
Like, I can't remember when she left, but so I followed the page through that. I saw what she was doing. I thought it looked really cool, so I gave you guys a follow, and then you put up the ad for an intern, and I just applied for that.
great. How do you think that your internship with Black Label Music opened your mind to music business and sync licensing?
How? I guess it opened it up because I had no experience with that before at all. So it was good, and like Ken's very open, and he's any questions you've got, he always answers them, which is great, and it definitely helps when there's gaps in your knowledge and stuff, and he's able to just answer the questions that you've got there and then, which is great.
Tight. So, what do you think like the difference is between like what we do here at Black Label versus what you were already doing before you started?
I think this what you do at Black Label is a lot more maybe focused. It's a lot. It's like I guess with my work, it's focusing on what an artist wants and what their kind of vision is. Whereas with Black Label, it's kind of focusing on what Black Label needs essentially, and what the client, the sync client needs, or what gaps there are in the catalog and stuff. And it's a lot more. It's a lot quicker way of working, I'd say,
That
like the
makes
way that
sense.
you guys focus on stuff.
Yeah, you definitely been pumping out the tracks, man. We're very impressed.
Got to be done. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to for them to be released on the catalog, and I'm excited to see, who ends up licensing some of them because they're really great.
Yeah.
So, who are some of your musical inspirations?
Ooh, big question, isn't
It's
it?
a big question. It is.
Um, that I feel like for me personally, I have so many different influences. It's like pretty much impossible to pin it down. Like I just totally, as an artist myself and as like a creative, I just follow my gut. I don't really think too much about what the end goal is, especially when I'm creating. I think it's because when I work with artists, it's so like focused and like
Yeah,
they know
totally.
what they want, and we're chatting about it the whole way through. Whereas with my musical influences, I like the fact that I can just do absolutely anything.
Yeah, totally.
As I'm sure you've probably heard with all the different stuff that I've sent in.
Oh,
It's
totally. Yeah. No, I was actually have a question specifically about the variety of musical styles that you be doing. So,
nice.
so you have some pop, you have some indie, you have some R&B, but if you could choose one type of music to produce and play for the rest of your life, what would it be and
That's
why?
that's such a big question.
It's a big question.
Putting me
It's
on
a
the
big
spot.
question. That's what we do at the Black Label Show. We answer the big questions. We'll see if
That
I
is
keep
so
that part
hard.
in.
I guess pop, and I'll answer this because you can these days with pop, you can do pretty much anything. You know what I
Totally.
mean? Like I think we're at a point with pop music as a whole where there's not really any rules. It's not got like a specific sound like it had for like years.
Yeah.
Although I mean you could say we're maybe going back into it and having a sound for a bit, but for me anyway, all the pop music I listen to is like I feel like there's such a scope that you can create within pop. So
Totally.
I basically avoided your question there. I found a clever way to do it.
Hey, man. So, what kind of things do you think were in pop that are sort of changing? Like, what specifically?
I think maybe I don't think anything's changing in like the creative process or anything, but I think the listeners maybe like previous limitations aren't there. So like a listener will listen to anything these days as opposed to like a few years ago where maybe people's tastes were a bit more narrow.
Yeah, totally.
And that's maybe one thing that you could thank Spotify for. One thing.
So, according to your website,
Here we
you
go.
are based in Manchester, the United Kingdom. But you've also done a lot of work in Minneapolis, Minnesota. How did that come to be?
Well, that was years and years ago. I first met someone from Minnesota, and that was Moyes. And we actually met on SoundCloud when, like, I think I was 18 and he was like
Wow.
19 or 20. So we've been friends for like 10 years now, pretty much. And I was just putting like beats up on SoundCloud without any vocals on because at that point I didn't really sing or anything like that. And then Moyes just hit me up and he was like, "Do you want to collab on something?"
Nice.
And that was it. From there, like we've worked together ever since, and like I've been lucky enough to go over to Minnesota and work with people over there as well. And it's sick. I really like the city and I really like the music.
Totally. So, how do you feel that the musical culture and community are different in Manchester versus Minneapolis?
That's such a good question. Damn,
It's a good
you've been doing your
question, right?
homework. Damn. Well, I've only been in Minnesota for like 2 weeks, so I don't think I can wholeheartedly pass my judgment on the music scene because it was also the middle of winter, so there wasn't too much happening, and it was COVID as well, so even less happening, to be fair.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what people have told me, and then a very limited experience. But the best thing about Manchester is there's so many small like grassroots venues that you could gig in, and like little events that you can just go to. Like there's pretty much, I'd say every night you could probably go to an event in Manchester, and if you wanted to see live music, you could. So I think that's one of the best things about Manchester. And it's a little bit less busy than London. Like when I've been down to London, it's sometimes hard to find space or find your space because it's such a big city. Whereas Manchester's like nice kind of middle ground, you know what I mean, in terms of size, defo.
So do you think that the type of music that you make is sort of in the forefront in Manchester? Or like what kind of music does Manchester do really good?
I mean, it's obviously famous for like indie to like a massive level. But I still think that is definitely one of the most present genres. But I think in Manchester, it's like most cities now. There's like a little community for everyone if you can find it.
Totally.
So I think the DIY scene is doing really well in Manchester. And that's all kind of genres, I think.
Okay, tight. Cool. So next question. We're getting out of the Manchester, Minneapolis stuff. What advice do you have for any budding / fledgling music producers? I like using that word. I've been using it a lot, fledgling. Music producers just getting started who want to be professional producers like yourself. Look at your studio. So professional.
This isn't my studio. I wish it was. What would my advice be? Just keep cooking, to be honest. I know that sounds so obvious, but if you just keep working at it, eventually you'll figure it out.
Totally.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of maybe feel like they start off and it's not what they've got in their head, and they're like, maybe that like puts them off. But
Yeah.
if you just keep trying, keep every day trying to get better at it, then it'll happen 100%.
Okay, at what point did you decide to go full time? Did you think that it was like viable for you to be a full time producer? And did you always want for that to be the case? Or did it just sort of like fall into your lap? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think since I started out, I always had this like vision of like doing it full time in any capacity. Like
Yeah.
I was never too bothered about if I was engineering, if I was producing, or if I was playing. I just wanted to do music for a living. And I think just having that pure drive is what's kind of led me to this point now, and just kind of taking everything and trying to make it work. I don't know if I ever had it in my head that I'd be a producer, to be honest.
Okay.
I didn't actually know what music production was until I studied it at uni.
Oh, yeah.
Which is mad.
Tight.
Like, when you think about it, like, yeah.
So you studied this at university, you said?
I studied engineering at university. And
Okay.
yeah, I never really knew what I was signing up for with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
how do you think that, university helped you in your career? Because I know that there's a lot of people who, especially in music, who are like, should I go to university for music? Should I not? A lot of people like, kind of think that there's no point. But as a person who has gone to school for music, I think that, it is very beneficial, but it's also expensive. I don't know what it's like in the UK.
yeah, it's expensive here as well. It's just crazy. But like my uni, it was definitely the resources that you get access to. Like, I'd never been into like a professional studio like this one before I went to uni, and I don't know how you can really gain that experience apart from working in a studio or studying it at university. Because I remember thinking like desks are the scariest things in the world, because it's just so big and there's so many buttons.
Yeah.
And there was so many sessions I had when I was starting out that were just completely unproductive just because I couldn't get things to work.
Yeah.
you know how it is. Like,
yeah, totally.
I do think it's worth it, especially if like me, you're not from a musical family, you've not got much actual experience other than like stuff you do at home, and you're thinking, I'd love to do it in a professional capacity in a space like this, then I definitely think it's worth it.
Thank you guys for listening. This has been Will Levison. If you want to check out his music, go follow him on Instagram at, what is your tag on Instagram?
Just Will Levison.
Will Levison. Also, if you want more content from producers, composers, and general music people from Black Label Music, give us a follow for more. Thank you so much. Say bye, Will.
Farewell.
Farewell.